Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today I've got a game for you between Dumais as our British, and his opponent today is Don't Eat Cilantro as our Africa Corps. So, map today is going to be Angeville. 2 victory points on the right, 1 on the left, rich fuel out in front, and 2 critical cutoff points here connecting you to pretty much everything. Now, I have tried multiple times to cast Dumais on this channel. Every time I check out one of his games, it just isn't great enough to make it onto the channel. So here's hoping that this game does. He has a pillar of the community for a while now. I believe that he was in N7 Shark's interview video about the latest patch. And, if you haven't seen that video and you haven't seen Dumais before, definitely check out some of his content. I don't know much about Don't Eat Cilantro, but he is very highly rated, as is Dumais, so I expect this to be a great game. Standard builds for both players, Bersaglieri on the field for our German, having locked in the Italian combined arms there. Motorbike, of course, to help him capture a whole bunch of territory. And it does look like our German's going to walk away with 2 of the fuel points to start this game off, so that's big for him. First player pushing this left side. Gonna try and pick up this fuel point here. Panzer Pioneers trying to get down mines, really looking to secure this fuel point. But with those Royal Engineers closing the gap there, he's going to have to give up the position. Dingo on the way next for Dumais. The Dingo, of course, very good and pretty decent against Bersaglieri. Able to keep up with their quick march that they have and possibly chase down this motorbike. So, as this fight breaks out here, just want to quickly say that, as you know, I've been uploading videos with the tournament mode to show more of the action. I am trying to balance that with caster mode to talk about some of the things that, frankly, I don't know, and I imagine some of the viewers don't know as well. Kind of showing off particular parts of the game. So if you're hating caster mode, or if you're hating tournament mode, please let me know. There is a poll up on my channel if you haven't voted already. Love to hear from you on it. Get your thoughts. So, it does help me make decisions as I shifted from the, same with shifting away from that widescreen. So, British player did manage to pick up his fuel point there on the top side. Looks like the bike wants to put a stop to that, diving deep to take away this fuel point. Dingo actually in a bad spot, has to back up further away from his own base there. But British coming in here to stop this capture by the bike. Does look like the bike is going to finish the capture, so nicely done by him. And Dumais in a little bit of a tough spot here, having tons of territory taken away from him. That said, he is connected to his major fuel there, and does have 2 of the victory points, so despite this extreme aggression from his opponent, is going to walk away with territory he needs to succeed. Dingo actually fighting Bersaglieri in that house there, trying to connect up with his Royal Engineers, but having a hard time doing that. So something else I'll say is, if you're enjoying the content, please check if you're subscribed. A lot of my viewers are not actually subscribed, and if you've made it this far into the video, you are one of the ones that I'd love to have be a part of this channel. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And that's enough being a YouTube shill for the day. British player going up to the platoon command post here. So I expect we're going to see a Humber armored car next. From a player getting those support elements, so could see a Flak half-track. Both players going leaning heavily into the meta here. Nothing wrong with that. Panzerjägers on the field here. Looks like they want to ambush this dingo, but dingo not going to chase now that this dingo's veterancy 1. Oh, he is going to run into these Panzerjägers, though. And nice little find there. Immediately seeing the threat, though, and able to get away. British player finding a deep mine from his opponent on that cutoff point there. A cutoff point for the German player not actually connecting to him to anything important, just this exact moment. There's another mine there. That is a German mine in that hedgerow, so dividing the two halves of the map in half. German coming out of his base. Looks like you might want to try and pick up this fuel point here. British player ready for it, though. And actually, British player skipping the armored car and going for the Stuart. We're going to see a Stuart here. Now, typically when players go for Stuarts, they go for 2 Stuarts, and with the intention of calling them both off the map with the ability that I can't remember the name of, but basically getting a refund on those Stuarts and immediately transitioning into something like a Matilda or a Crusader. And British player locking in the land and sea, air and sea battle group. So I really like this battle group. The only change it saw last patch was to make the demolition charges invisible and increase their cost from 25 or 50 to 75. Black half-track on the field, going to drive away these engineers. Assault grenadier, mechanized assault grenadiers called in there, and dingo getting the heck out. So both players just going to trade halves of the map. Now this is favorable for our German player because he's going to end up with 2 victory points. If he can go deep there, but hasn't done so just yet. Flak half-track responding, commando section closing the gap there. Yeah, so the commando support section is way, way more popular than the commando section. Hopefully I'm saying the name correctly there. But, you know, those short-range commandos that can plant those hidden demolitions, I think they're way less popular because players tend to favor the long-range fights. And that light machine gun is good at all ranges, of course, so now this unit cannot plant the hidden demolition charge, instead getting access to. Take a look here. So the mobile beacon, reinforce out of combat. Very cool. Oh, nearby commando units to reinforce. Okay. I did not know about that ability. Also gives them a discount from the looks of things at higher veterancy. Assault Grenadiers chasing down these infantry sections here. I do think they're both going to get out of there, just trying to drain some manpower away.
A victory point is being overrun.
And Stuart on the way here. So this Stuart should do some good work for our British player. But German being very aggressive here, controlling a lot of territory once again with that high mobility, as Afrika Korps is wont to do. Engineers trying to fight here, but going to lose this fight pretty quick and have to give up the space. Dingo in the area, getting a flank there. Stuart immediately finding these Jaegers, as well as the flak half-track. Going to take a ton of damage there. Should get out okay. An unfortunate position for our British player to find himself in. Commandos getting back in the building. Second grenade going to come out here. Grenadiers in the retreat path there. That's pretty scary. Commandos going to run for their lives. It's going to be really, really close. Sprint ability being used to try and trace those commandos down, but not going to happen. Commandos here to save the day. So, crazy little fight there. Very, very red map. But here comes the Stuart again, repaired up. Jaegers rotating. Recognizing the position of the Stuart, flak half-track also coming to help. Versalieri just being annoying in the house there. Stuart poking its head out, going to find this flak half-track. Good hit there. Jaegers behind the hedgerow, not going to poke their heads out just yet. Stuart trying to dish out some damage to that flak half-track, but half-track playing cagey. Now that's a dangerous place to sit, because if the Stuart happens to hit that mine with one of these shots, that could be a dead flak gun. Stuart actually destroying some of the hedgerow there, opening this area up a little bit. And German player really trying to bait here. Boys rifles on the side, finding an angle. Stuart seemingly with that sixth sense, not running into those mines. Smoke actually going to cover from the Panzerjägers on the way out. And Dingo also able to get out of there safely. So nice little pickup for our British player there. That's kind of a big deal. German player on the way to Panzer Command, though. Panzer 3's going to be coming out. You know, I wish I knew how to pronounce this word. Panzer me? Yeah. I'm going to need help with that, fellas. I need to put that one into Google. Panzerjäger finding the Stuart here. 250 almost going down to the Stuart, but going to back off safely here. Now, this is a little bit of a scary push from our German here. Grouped up heavily. Bike even contributing with the mark ability. And this infantry section cannot stay there for very long. Gonna bail out. So, is that a commando section? Let's go. Commando's on the way for our British player. So, you know, let's take a quick look at that commando support section one more time here while we have just a brief second. If I could remember how to switch off of tournament mode. So, Dingo plucking away there. So mobile beacon, nearby commandos can be reinforced out of combat, and at veteran C2 it increases the reinforce range so they don't have to stand right next to each other. Panzerjäger's finding that Dingo, almost picking him up here. 250 going down to the Stuart though, and Panzerjäger's bail out just in time. Trading blows with that Stuart a little bit there, so... And what else do they get? Stealth, of course. Hawker strafing run at Veteran C1. That one's real popular to see. And now this commando section does have these hidden demolition charges, so I'm going to throw out some copium and hope we see that this game. It is very expensive at 75 munitions, so we probably won't see it for a little while here. Resource cache going down for Dumais. That's pretty cool. Where's he building that? On this fuel. Okay. And that is once again, the battle group there. Sorry, guys, I'm missing a little bit of action here. Panzer 3 on the way.
Sector overrun. The enemy has...
Let me, again, switch back here, because I need to see this battle group. So he's got that surplus supplies. Dingo finally finding this mine that's been there for ages. Smoke grenade going to come out from these commandos to keep them alive here. Setting a trap a little bit here. This guy's John Cena standing out in the open there. Dingo probably going to go down here to this Panzer 3, if not the Bersaglieri. Boys rifles there to help out, push back. And Stuart barely escaping the wrath of those Jaegers there. So nice pickup for our German player. Finally bringing down that Dingo. So yeah, they can be upgraded with field infirmaries. They reduce the cost of resource caches. And, okay. So, forward resource cache on that right side. I wonder if our British player is planning to try and lock down that side. Of course, he hasn't upgraded it to the strategic... What's it called? Strategic point just yet. Oh, I see. Strategic points can be upgraded with field infirmaries. Alright, guys. We got there. I'm sorry. I don't use this ability ever. I always go for naval blockade, but that's okay. Alright, back to tournament mode. We did it. So, this Panzer III is a bit scary for our British player to deal with, and in fact, our German has gone up to his second Panzerjäger here. Now, I haven't really talked about it because I think we've all seen the Bersaglieri about 1.5 million times. But our German player is doing the meta play of getting those bolstered Bersaglieri squads, allowing 6 members, as well as the Light machine guns, they can be upgraded, that Model 30. So no surprises there. Bersaglieri going to be pretty scary. Both squads have been upgraded. And love to see this commando squad. I don't think we've seen any demo charges go down. Big push by our German here. Using the full force here. Commandos on the wings trying to be annoying. Is closing the distance there. Going to bail out when the grenade comes out. Boys' rifles on the retreat as well. So it does look like the Germans going to be able to secure this side, but it's a relatively blue map for right now. Smoke grenade coming down. Going to protect this Stuart. And, you know, there's a... I love to see this AT gun. So I haven't been able to finish my thought here, but been trying to get out the fact that our British player didn't have a whole lot of anti-tank, and this Stuart is in a very scary position against this Panzer III, and we're seeing the company command post on the way right now. Just had enough fuel to do that, and so this period of scariness where there's a Panzer III on the field and Stuart has to be extra careful is coming to a close. I do expect to see a Crusader here. It is the meta choice against a Panzer III. That said, I actually think that a Matilda here would be very, very good. Matildas with that high armor do pretty well against the Panzerjäger rifles. Anti-tank rifles, that is. AT gun getting good hits on that Panzer III. And, you know, with the AT gun, I think that Matilda can do okay in terms of, you know, it's all the... just needs anti-infantry, and he can deal with this Panzer III with AT gun. We'll see if our British player agrees with me there. And got to be very careful with this Crusader here. 250 going to go down. Panzerjäger's trying to close the gap. Stuart riding the edge of the map here. Does look like he's going to sneak out of there just barely. One shot going to come out. Not going to happen. Commandos have a really bad retreat path here. And does sort of look like they're going to go down. AT gun getting some shots on the Panzer III. Really nicely done. Stuart taking a ton of fire there for his trouble. AT gun going to back up. And this is a scary position. You know, what's crazy is our British player's doing this with half his army, right? I mean, he's been trying to hold down this right side with 3 of his units and staying very spread out here, and it's working for him. Second Panzer III on the way. Now, the fact that our British player has not called his Stuart off the map yet makes me think that we are not going to see that. Like, he's going to keep this Stuart. So, and with that in mind, I definitely think we're going to see a Crusader instead of a Matilda. See what ends up actually happening. How does this guy do? What does he get at Vet 2? Rate of fire, rotation rate. Oh, plus damage to vehicles at Veteran C3. That's pretty cool. So if he does manage to make it to Vet 3, could see some scariness there. Strafing run is unlocked for our German player. I do believe this got a discount last patch, if I'm remembering correctly. Stuart continuing to sit at maximum range and just being as annoying as possible. Here come the Panzer IIIs wanting a piece of this Stuart. And British player's coming up on enough... I mean, he has enough resources for a Crusader here, so... Wondering what he's thinking about there. Panzer Pioneers getting absolutely wrecked by this Stuart. Panzer III is going to try and mirror the movements of the Stuart. That was a nice little grenade on the retreat path. Might even get him. Nice get there. Reducing one of his opponent's units there. Resource cache on this right side, still alive. That's impressive here. And that's a dead rifleman if I've ever seen one. Dead infantry section there, potentially. Commandos duking it out with these Bersaglieri. And infantry section barely making it out. Alright, and let's play the game. What is this unit? It's a Matilda. I almost called it a Crusader, but knew that I don't know the silhouettes of these stupid tanks. So, Matilda on the way. Very cool. So, British player feeling like he needs tankiness, like health and armor, and anti-infantry over the anti-tank capabilities of a Crusader. So that's a cool choice there. And a little bit scary for Dumais here, you know. Those Crusader 3s can dive on this Stuart, and, you know, eventually they can dive on the Matilda as well. But I do think our British player does need more anti-tank. Now, I think that our German player has been upgrading. Yeah, he has. So he's got the emergency repair kits, going to let these units repair out on the field. Does have artillery cover as well. German player's storing up a bit of fuel here. Now, you know, I recently I cast a game today. For you guys, it was 3 days ago. But for me, it was today. Cast a game on Angeville. I don't remember the names of the players, but they spammed out Panzer IIIs. And by the way, if you don't want me to spoil this game, you should probably go watch it right now, because it was a fantastic game. In any case, the German player ended up with like 5 Panzers that were all highly teched out. And I'm wondering if that's what we're going to see from our German player this game as well. Matilda being dove on. AT gun in position, though, is going to get a shot. And here comes the covering artillery fire here. So going to barrage these units as they try to escape the circle of death. But getting in behind that Matilda is bad news there. Crusader on the way. Going to try and help out. Matilda going to make it out of the circle of death, but not going to live much long past that. Debuff coming out from the Stuart there. Matilda going down. AT gun already dead. Crusader, Stuart probably also going to go down. But German player choosing not to chase, doesn't know if there's mines in the fog of war. So good I like that decision from him, despite how it might appear to us. And actually, boys' rifles somehow in behind these Panzer IIIs, picking one up. That's really big for our British player there. And, you know, while that was happening, British player continuing to control the victory points, so victory points entering scary territory for our German here. Of course, he's not in deep trouble just yet. But German player with control of both fuel points, and of course, he is cut off from one of them. But, wow. Is that another? Okay, guys, let's play the game. Is it another Matilda? I think it is. It's not. I don't know what is wrong with me, man. Those silhouettes, dude. I cannot figure it out. Commando's being driven away by these relatively high veterancy infantry units. Assault Grenadiers pretty scary at Vet 2 there. And Bren rifles upgraded on this infantry section here. I think Bren rifles are really darn good this patch. I mean, the Recce package was basically broken last patch, and the nerf to the artillery cooldown has seen a lot less of that. I do think the Recce package is still good, and I like seeing one, so I wouldn't mind seeing another Recce package here, but see what he ends up wanting to do. Infantry section eventually going to lose to those Vet 2 Assault Grenadiers. Crusader 2 on the scene here, going to drive back all of this infantry. Might even pick up those Assault Grenadiers. That'd be a nice get for him. Is going to chase. One more shot. Just missing. Has to chase a little further. Very risky. Is going to get him. So nice little pickup there from Dumais. Going to keep him in this game. That was a Vet 2 Assault Grenadier. Pretty important unit for our German. And unsurprisingly, German has continued to add on more of these Panzer IIIs. Let's do a quick tech check on him. Hasn't gone past repair kits just yet. AT gun missing its shot. Unfortunately for a British player. And, you know, I do think I'd like to see another Crusader or a Matilda potentially here. Panzer, you're getting absolutely slapped there. Going down super quick to these commandos. Crusader on the scene. Gonna pick up some more of these units on their way out. Wow. That was pretty freaking devastating for our German player. Losing track of those units. AT gun not in position to help this Crusader. And Panzer III is actually getting a penetration on that front armor. Looks like he still wants to chase. More penetrations on the front armor at long range. This is a bad fight for our British player. AT gun set up on the rear armor. And looks like these Panzer IIIs want to chase all the way into the base here. And thinking better of it now, going to rotate up to this top side. Mechanized Assault Grenadiers called in. Looks like he's going to pick up this AT gun on the retreat. That'll be a nice return option for him. Is going to try and destroy that. Crusader 2 helping out here. Is going to try and stop the AT gun from going down, but not going to happen. Healthy Panzer III staying around. And both players going to slowly back away here. German player getting repaired up immediately on the scene here. Assault Grenadier is going to capture that fuel. And, you know, again, our German player having focused all in one area, but British player taking away territory on this right side while all that was happening. The Crusader seeking out these engineers all the way up on the top side. So that's good for him. Going to get repaired up. Bren guns finding this open area here to try and steal away that cutoff point. German player's going to have something to say about that. Mine somewhere there. Looks like those commandos may have found a mine. I'm not sure whose mine that was. And infantry section is going to be driven off here. Foot guard on the way for our British player. I love seeing foot guard in the late game. They're good against freaking everything. Alright. Alright. I think this is a Crusader. It's gotta be, right? Yes, I did it, guys. I did it. I'm 1 for 3. That's 100% win rate. Infantry section going way deep here, taking away these quote-unquote guaranteed points. Assault Grenadiers not responding just yet. And Panzer III is going to jump on these commandos here. Crusader going to jump on the Assault Grenadiers. They're going to have to bail out there. Foot guard. Not on the foot guard to actually cancel to do that Crusader instead. I didn't even notice. Commando's going to go down here. That's a Vet 3 commando. And that's a pretty substantial loss for our British player. Crusader on low health here. Panzer III is trying to find him on the retreat. And strafing run... No, that's the rocket strike from the British player on the way here. Going to do huge damage to those units. And they might just make it out, but the Crusader's going to find him on the retreat there. And trading tanks here. Vet 2 Panzer is going to go down to this Crusader 2 here. And rocket strike from downtown. The circle's over here, bud. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. That was a dead unit. And wow, this Crusader is also going to go down to this Panzer 3. What a ridiculous trade this has been. What a ridiculous trade this has been. Is going to get him. So, holy... Look at both players, dude. Both players reset here. What the heck? So, alright. Let's take stock of this ridiculous situation. German player has a tank. British player has pretty much no way to deal with it other than some boys' rifles and an AT gun on the way. The British player wiped most of his opponent's high veterancy infantry. German might be trying to repay the favor here, though. Gonna miss that shot. Does want to chase. AT gun not on the scene yet. Second Bren gun on the scene, but not gonna be able to help out. Where are the boys' rifles? Not in position to help out. So German gonna seize this entire right side very slowly because, again, he has no units to capture. Boys' rifles going to go for the cutoff point here. So, you know, that's the superior capture power, right, from our British player. Able to secure territory in this late game situation. Actually has a triple cap right now. German player should be ignoring fuel and going straight for victory points, but isn't happening just yet. Looks like another Crusader 2 on the way. AT gun actually getting a shot there, but being blocked by the tank carcass. Attacking ground there, but not going to connect. Panzer III going to repair up there. And German player, recognizing his dire situation, is going to decapture 2 of the victory points. And is going to pick up both from the looks of things. British player destroying all these tank carcasses. denying any salvage opportunities.
The resolve station and
Of course, we're
bring your
probably
orders.
not going to see that happen. AT gun set up in a good spot here. Doesn't have vision of the Panzer III, though. Foot guard's also going to help out. AT gun bouncing at maximum range. Crusader on the hunt here. Boys rifles getting some shots and some penetrations. Crusader 2 has the advantage here, but both players going to back away from each other. British player can take this fight nice and slow here. He has all the map control he needs right now, which is to say he's not bleeding too quickly. Strafing run coming in. Gonna absolutely shred that engineering unit. Panzer III is gonna go down here from the looks of things. Crusader living through it. AT gun also survived. Assault grenadiers on the scene, but defended by commandos. And our German player is gonna throw in the towel with the loss of that last tank. And wow, what a game. What a game. You know, this is something you don't see out every day. Infantry lost 81, but this guy only killed 77, so a little bit of friendly fire going on there. Yeah, you know, I think our German hit those late game tanks, but he did not invest in tech to make his tanks all that they can be, right? They couldn't capture territory. They didn't have those tungsten rounds. So despite the fact that game looked very similar to the game I put out a few days ago, it was... he couldn't come back in that situation because he didn't have the tech in those tanks after he lost all his infantry. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did. Happy to have Dumais on the channel for once, and I will see you guys in the next video.